Hey guys, it's me. We're here to do another demonstration type video. I know everybody enjoyed my how to disarm a person with a gun video. So today we're going to do something a little bit different, but kind of related in the same sense. Today I'm going to take my Glock 23 here. I'll show y'all ahead of time. Nothing, no magazine. It's racked, good to go, right? So what we're going to do is I'm open carrying. Actually, let me change the angle here. As you guys can see, I'm open carry at my Glock 23 here in my Black Hawk Soper holster. And what we're going to do is we're going to test the theory of keeping one in the chamber. I'm a fan of keeping your whatever weapon you're going to carry, whatever gun you're going to carry, fully loaded magazine plus one in the chamber all the time. But there are a lot of people, especially people that are very safety minded, that think that you don't need to, that it don't take but just a second to rack the slide and things don't happen that fast. So I got my brother here again to be the test dummy, and we're going to try to demonstrate to see if in fact that one split second doesn't make a difference in normal shooting links, as far as from a self-defense situation at 7 to 10 feet range where most self-defense shootings happen. So we're going to get set up and hope you like the video. Those of you familiar with Glocks, you know that the trigger here, when you rack it, goes forward to indicate that there's one in the chamber or that it has been racked. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start with the trigger in the backwards position, okay, in the Serpa holster. My brother here is going to be the attacker. We're going to stand, about 8 foot apart or whatever, and we're going to do this a couple different times at a couple different distances and with a couple different angles and things, and try to see how effective I can draw and shoot. I'm pretty rehearsed at it as far as the draw piece. It doesn't take but a split second longer to rack it. I agree with that point. But my issue is it takes both your hands. You draw and it takes the other hand to rack it. What if you can't use your other hand? What if somebody's already on top of you? What if they can get to you before you can get that? Because all it would take is, while in motion, now both your hands are tied up and you cannot defend your face or your head or any other part of your body. All it would take was one good person to hit you, and this process will stop. So we're going to test it from a couple different angles, a couple different distances, and see what I can do. And this is just me. I don't depend my life on being able to do that on a draw. So I'm not going to be the best person at it that there is. But I've drawn my weapon enough to hopefully be able to demonstrate this effective enough to be able to see whether not keeping one in the chamber is a viable option. And guys, the reason I'm doing this in an open carry fashion, depending on how successful we are in this video, I may do a concealed carry version of this video. But let's face it, concealed carry is another step you're adding to the draw process. You have to move to lift your shirt or pull something out of a pocket or whatever the case may be. So the concealed carry is going to add one more step, which is going to make your draw a fraction of a second even slower. So if we can't successfully draw, rack, and fire in an open carry fashion, there's no need to even test a concealed carry. So we're starting with the open carry for that reason. So here we go, guys. From about 7-8 feet, roughly, not really measured. We're not really going to do any kind of reenacting or acting as far as an actual situation. I'm just going to let my brother decide when to start a charge type attack, and then he's going to rush me as fast as he can. His objective is to get to me before I can pull the trigger. If he can get to me before I can rack and pull the trigger, whether he can get in between my hands or whether he could hit me or whatever the case may be, if they can get to you, then it's too slow. Then it's one more step. Because if they hit you, they can disorient you, knock you out, blah, blah. if they get in between, if they can get in between your hands and not allow you to rack it, well then you've got a club and not a gun. Whereas if it's already racked and you're carrying one in the chamber, worst case scenario, as long as you're not knocked unconscious, you can still defend yourself. So I'm a back up. It's going to be about 7-8 feet away from him, that normal self-defense shooting range, and see if he can charge me, which by the way, he's not the fastest person on the face of the earth. So this is really leaning in favor of me being able to do this. We're gonna see what happens here. See, I couldn't even draw it. I couldn't even draw it. Let's try it again.
Did I push you out of frame?
No, you're good.
Okay.
Ooh, you all right? Yeah, I'm good.
I'm sorry, man.
You good? You good? I actually got it up there.
Yeah, I saw. I was scared.
All right, so I just did 2 attempts at trying to draw with him rushing, and both attempts were unsuccessful. One, I think, due to my fault, just a bad draw sequence, and one just was completely unable. I mean, I got the gun drawn, but before I could get my other hand over, he was already there. Now, I'm not sure how that's going to show out in the editing process. I'm sure we backed off screen, so we're going to change the angle here a little bit. You're not going to be able to see him to start with probably, but you'll have a better angle on me being able to draw and be able to stay in frame. All right, guys, so here we go. My brother's slightly off camera this angle, about 7 feet away, maybe 8 feet away. We're going to do the same sequence, but this way maybe I can stay totally on camera and y'all be able to see this. Change shirts, guys, just so maybe you can see the contrast of my gun better. I forgot I had on a black shirt. I want y'all to be able to see everything as good as possible. So here we go. You got it.
Yeah, but you were able to record.
Yeah, I fired it too. Not sure how much you guys were able to see in that shit. I was able to both draw, rack, and fire that sequence. However, that being a practice round or just good practice to say, when I got my rack finished, or when I was in the process of racking and then pulled the trigger, he already had both his hands on me. So in an instance where somebody was going again to straight hit you, I probably would not have finished that sequence. Probably would not have been able to defend myself if he was coming at me and just straight cold cocked me right in the jaw instead of trying to tackle me or trying to grab at my hands to stop this from happening. So we're gonna do this again. So again, guys, I'm considering it failed if he gets his hands on me before I can pull the trigger, because too many things can happen to stop me from being able to rack that slide at that point. We're doing this from about the same distance one more time. All two. Another failed experiment. That particular time, I couldn't so much as even really get it drawn and get this other hand around. Now he does know he's trying to stop me from doing this, but that's because mainly we can't simulate him hitting me. I'm not gonna let him. I'd have to shoot him for real. Again, him touching me before I can fire is failed. And guys, I'm backpedaling too. So that's buying me an extra second. And he separated my hands, and I was unable to be able to rack the slide. Had there been one in the chamber, I could have at least been able to pull the trigger. It would have been at an odd angle, or I'd had to wrap back around the arm, or whatever the case may be. But I would have at least been able to pull the trigger. Experiment failed. And that was at 7 to 8 feet. I was planning on testing this at several different lengths from the attacker, getting closer and closer, because honestly I thought I could be successful enough at 7 to 8 feet to be able to say that it's plausible to be able to do it. at this point in time, I'm not even comfortable enough to say that. So we are going to try this one more time and see what happens. Nope, got my hand on it. I couldn't rack it. Experiment miserably failed. No need in even testing. Shorter distances, different angles. If I can't do it plainly when I see it coming, at 7 to 8 feet, which is a normal self-defense situation, there's no need in testing the rest. Experiment failed. Keep one in the chamber. Or don't. Die. It's your choice.